On the morning of Saturday, March 7th, sirens screamed across Tel Aviv as at least 5 ballistic missiles launched from Iran streaked toward Israel. Explosions echoed through the city as interceptors fired desperately to stop the incoming barrage. Since midnight, Israeli defenses detected multiple waves of Iranian fire headed straight for Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and southern Israel. This was Iran's 23rd wave of strikes since the war began on February 28th, and Tel Aviv kept getting hit. At least 40 buildings in Tel Aviv were damaged in Iranian strikes on Saturday, according to Haaretz, citing the city government. On February 28th, the war's first day, a direct hit in Tel Aviv killed a civilian woman and injured 22 others, with one seriously wounded. Iran struck Israeli targets in Tel Aviv and Haifa within hours of the US-Israeli operation that killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, showing a quicker response than previous conflicts, according to the BBC. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced combined drone and missile attacks on Tel Aviv and central Israel. The strikes are part of Operation True Promise 4, Iran's retaliation for the assassination of Khamenei and the deaths of over 1,330 Iranians killed in US-Israeli airstrikes, according to Iran's Tasnim news agency. Megan David Adom reported that Iran's initial attacks on February 28th left 89 injured, with 3 directly wounded and the rest indirectly, most of them civilians. The Israeli military confirmed defense systems were intercepting missiles launched from Iran during the 23rd wave. On Sunday, March 8, 7 people were injured in central Israel when a cluster missile hit, including a 40-year-old man critically wounded. This was the 4th major hit on the home front, along with prior major hits in Tel Aviv, Beit Shemesh, and Beersheba. Due to the large hit and volume of sirens, the IDF extended remote schooling nationally and restricted gatherings of more than 50 people through Thursday. Israeli broadcaster Kan 11 reported that 90, 65, and 25 missiles were launched at Israel from Iran on the first 3 days of the war, with 20 recorded in part of the 4th day. Although the number of missiles in each volley has decreased from around 100 to around 10 per day, the missiles themselves have increased in size and impact. Admiral Brad Cooper, head of U.S. Central Command, confirmed that Iran launched 500 missiles and 2,000 drones during the first 4 days of hostilities alone.
In just the last 72 hours, America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran, including around Tehran.
On March 1st, an Iranian strike hit a synagogue and residential buildings in Beit Shemesh, killing 9 people and injuring 49 others. That same day in Tel Aviv, 1 woman was killed by falling shrapnel and 22 were injured. The death toll in Israel has now reached 11 according to official counts, though the war shows no signs of slowing. Iran continues firing missiles at Tel Aviv, even as Israel claims near-complete air superiority and says it has destroyed 80% of Iran's air defense systems. Tel Aviv erupted not just from Iranian missiles, but from the psychological impact of sustained bombardment. The city that built its reputation as a safe, modern Mediterranean hub watched that image shatter as air raid sirens became a daily reality. Families ran to shelters multiple times per day. Buildings suffered damage across dozens of locations. And despite Israel's multi-layered defense systems, including Iron Dome, David's Sling, and Arrow interceptors, Iranian missiles kept getting through. The Israeli military announced it carried out broad-scale strikes on Iran in response.
Iran has been launching missiles to 12 different nations across the region since the beginning of Operation Roaring Line. Together with the United States, we are ending the regional threat posed by Iran,
hitting targets in Tehran and Isfahan.
After a deadly night of attacks across Iran, residents of Tehran awoke Saturday morning to even more Israeli strikes in the heart of the Iranian capital.
The IDF claimed it struck 50 ammunition bunkers and additional regime targets in Tehran on Sunday alone. On Friday, Israel destroyed 16 Quds Force aircraft at Mehrabad Airport in Tehran. The IDF also killed Abu al-Qassem Babiyan, head of the military bureau of Iran's Supreme Leader, in a precision strike in the heart of Tehran on Sunday. Israel has conducted 2,500 strikes since the war began, but Iran shows no sign of stopping. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps vowed to continue strikes until the aggression ceases. On March 2nd, Hezbollah began firing rockets and missiles on Israel in what they said was retaliation for the killing of Khamenei, an action condemned by the Lebanese government. The IDF reported 2 soldiers moderately injured in southern Lebanon as ground combat spread along the border.
The conflict between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah's escalating with fresh strikes rocking Lebanon today. Footage from the ground showed smoke rising over the horizon after fresh explosion. Israel's military said it had targeted infrastructure belonging to Hezbollah. The strike followed days of heavy bombardment across Lebanon from the southern suburbs of Beirut to towns along the border with Israel.
The war has killed at least 1,332 people in Iran, according to Tasnim, with the deadliest single incident occurring when a strike hit an elementary girls' school in Manab. In Lebanon, 217 have been killed. 6 U.S. service members died when Iran struck a base in Kuwait. The conflict has spread to 14 countries across the Middle East and beyond, with Iran firing at U.S. bases in Bahrain, Iraq, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Oman. Tel Aviv residents face a new reality. The missiles will keep coming, the sirens will keep sounding, the interceptors will keep firing. And despite Israel's claims of devastating Iran's military capabilities, Tehran continues launching strikes that hit Israeli cities. Iran has gone from 100 missiles per day to 10 per day, but those 10 missiles are bigger and hit harder. And when they land in Tel Aviv, they kill people and destroy buildings regardless of how many were intercepted. The cost of defending Tel Aviv is staggering. The Center for Strategic and International Studies estimated that the first 100 hours of Operation Epic Fury cost $3.7 billion, or about $891 million per day, with most of that cost not budgeted for. Every interceptor fired costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Every building damaged costs millions to repair. Every life lost is irreplaceable. And Iran has shown it can sustain this campaign for as long as it takes to make Israel pay for killing Khamenei. Trump said Iran is being demolished and is ahead of schedule, claiming the country now has no air force and no air defense. But the missiles keep hitting Tel Aviv. Israel claims 80% of Iran's air defenses are destroyed, but the missiles keep launching. The IDF says it has near-complete air superiority, but Iranian drones still reach Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, and Tel Aviv. The rhetoric from both sides claims total victory, while the reality is sustained warfare with no end in sight. Tel Aviv erupted not in celebration but in explosions. The massive missile barrage that Iran launched since February 28 has fundamentally changed life in Israel's commercial and cultural capital. The city that never stopped now stops multiple times daily for air raid sirens. The beaches that were packed with tourists now sit empty as airlines cancel thousands of flights. The startups and tech companies that made Tel Aviv a global innovation hub now operate from bomb shelters. And the missiles keep coming because Iran is not done making Israel pay for what happened on February 28th.